I always have to adjust the lighting just a little bit. And the mount here on the tripod. Hey, today is the 5th of July, 2022. I realize that this is when the David Knight Show is going on, and I normally wouldn't do this, but I don't know if I'll get another chance today, so I wanted to go ahead and do it. Hello as you come in. Of course, I'm Roy Potter. I appreciate you being here as you load up. Kind of a weird topic this morning, and I have to explain a little bit of the background. This is going to be not really a spiritual discussion, but I'm going to touch on some things that are happening in the world and what I got last night on Twitter. I'll go through the whole thing here so that you know exactly where I'm coming from. Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me know I'm 5 by 5 again. I apologize for doing this during the David Knight Show, but I really have to do it now. Logan, you're in Logan, Patrick. Hi, how you doing? So let me get right into it. Despite the fact that my background might seem to be one where I take advantage of women or denigrate women, that's not it at all. As a matter of fact, as I've often explained, I was told by the powers that be, the authorities, that if I just had girlfriends, if I just called the women I have associations with, close associations, okay, girlfriends, I would never have gotten in trouble. In other words, if I didn't honor them as being something more than just a toy, a, a, a passing fancy. And I know a lot of you don't understand that. Maybe you don't know my background. Go back and look through some of my videos. You might know what I'm talking about, or you can Google me, for instance. It's getting harder to find some of that older stuff now. No, I'm definitely not a Magto. No, definitely not. They've got their own problems. But despite the appearances, the fact of the matter is I honor women. I am, in fact, their strongest advocate, as I've said in the title of this video. Now, why am I doing this? What's the point here? If you followed my history, if you followed my spiritual discussions, my religious discussions, both the Eisenman series and the religion series, you'll kind of understand what I'm going to tell you today. If not, I'll expand on it a little bit so maybe you can. By the way, we've had a horrible windstorm for the last 2-3 days, and it blew up a lot of stuff in the air, and I've got a pretty nasty allergy right now. So if I sound a little bit nasal, that's why I even got a nosebleed this morning, because it's been pretty strong. Okay, let me jump in. So what am I talking about here? Well, women have been denigrated, and I've talked about this so many times. They've been put down, maligned uh, in the current cultures for the last 6,000 years minimum, for a lot of reasons. And I'm not going to go into the entire history of that, but I do want to tell you that it's uncalled for. And I'm going to show you why this morning, okay? A lot of it has to do with the problems of the worship of the female deities, of the Gaia, that happened way back in the thousands of years ago and even to the present day. It has to do with the worship of the Queen of Heaven, which was forbidden to the Israelites. Not that she didn't exist, funny enough, but that you were told not to worship her, which then gets into the concept of the Virgin Mary and a bunch of other things. But regardless, what I want to do this morning is show you why this is such a problem. Now, again, last night I received a tweet in my DMs from a follower, sent me a video, and I'm not going to tell you who it was. I don't want people to think that I'm out here to bash somebody as far as the person that made the video. But almost immediately, about probably 10 minutes into it, I realized where this guy was going. And he's going where so many in the MAGTOW, for instance, group, or even worse, in the true misogynist movements, where they hate women and they hate the idea that women are actually wholesome, that they're a good thing, because they've either had a bad experience or they believe some crazy preacher. I could tell you stories about that where women have been denigrated for having children because they're called harlots and other things for having children even. I mean, it's really bad, and it's been this way, particularly in Christendom, for the last 2,000 years, but even prior to that. And I'm going to show you some of this, and I think you'll understand. So again, I'm coming from the point where women are captured by the paradigm. Well, there's a thing, and I'm just going to say it real quick here. There's discussions on, and this video kind of went through this, about what the first chapter of Genesis is as opposed to the second and the third, and that they're two different groups. It was really nonsense, and I had to swallow many times just to be able to get through the video because it was so ridiculous. The guy pretends to be knowledgeable on these subjects, and he gets into all sorts of things in the weeds. And I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but it really got me kind of angry, frankly. And I had to tell the person that sent me this information on the DM that I wasn't angry with them. I came out with a whole explanation about why this particular video poster is full of shit. He had a lot of good points, not saying he didn't. He talked a lot like, Trump doing this whole thing with Operation Warp Speed and a lot of other good things, but I knew where he was going with this denigration of women as being the sole reason, along with the fallen angels, of our current fallen condition. And so I'm going to address that here this morning. Okay, here we go. So it gets into the idea of feminine and masculine energies, and that it was the feminine energy that became evil, that responded to the evil and then promulgated it in mankind. And did it through, as I've talked about before, the seed of the serpent, and that seed of the serpent is trying to take over mankind. In other words, the seed of Adam, okay, and the seed of the serpent. And then the whole thing about that the seed of the woman would overcome the seed of the serpent. And that there would be enmity between them. But all of that has been switched to make women look like they're really bad. And I got to tell everybody, that makes me angry. So, this particular presenter presented some things in Strong's Concordance. Okay, you all know that I'm very much into this. I understand it. I've studied it for years. And this was one of the issues that I said Strong's has a problem with, because Strong's was a traditionalist Christian, and when he did his work, he did his translations, his explanations, along with Gesenius. Not so much a problem in Gesenius, but it still exists here. This thing that I'm going to talk about. The traditional concept that women are the cause of lust and desire. Well, I hope so. But and I gave a discussion on what this lust really is. There's a difference between desiring someone, but then using it to your advantage to make money, to go out and take advantage of people, promiscuity, that kind of thing. But they want to make the woman the center of this problem with lust, and it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. So I'm going to show you that I can prove this to you. And that Strong's was biased, and that he misunderstood or deliberately wanted to denigrate women for whatever reason, because of his traditions that he had learned through the years or whatever. So here we go. In Strong's, and this presenter on YouTube brought this up in Strong's. And I told the person who sent me the DM, look, this guy's misusing Strong's, and he's got to be careful about what he does here, because he makes the same mistake or intentionally deceived everyone because of what Strong says. And I'm going to get to this right now. Okay, got to put my glasses on. This print here is pretty small. And I hope you can follow me on this. Okay. I'm going to read you, first of all, the word for man, okay, in the Hebrew. All right? We talked about this before. It's ish, or ish. And if you look it up in Strong's Concordance, it's 376, for those of you who want to follow along. 376. Now, I could jump over to the Gesenius as well here, but I've already checked all this out, but you're welcome to go look it up in Gesenius as well. And on the topic of man, the word man, it's pretty much the same in Gesenius and the Strongs. Let me read it to you. So this is what it says, word 376, ish. A man as an individual or a male person, often used an adjunct to a more definite term, and in such cases frequently not expressed in translation. Also another, any man, a certain champion, consent, each and every fellow husband. You get the idea. There's nothing derogatory in this definition that Strong's gives of the word man, ish. Even calling the man a champion, right? Now, let's go to woman. This is word 802 for those of you who have a Strong's. And let's read what Strong says about the word woman. And it's word 802. And this is what it says. Of course, it's isha, right? And this is what it says. Listen to this. And it also includes nashaim, which is the plural for woman. That's women, nashaim. Okay? Listen to this. A woman, adulteress. So if a woman commits adultery, then all women are considered adulteresses. That's what this is saying. A woman is by nature an adulteress. Yet a man by nature is a champion. Do you see where even Strong's, you've got to be careful with it? Because those traditional ideas sneak in when you least expect it. Now, it is true that a woman can be a harlot or an adulteress. And if you look in Joshua 2:1, let me show you what Joshua does, and then you have Strong's and even Gesenius to some extent, but not so much. Here's my Hebrew Interlinear English Bible. Let's go to Joshua 2:1. And this is what it says. And Joshua the son of Nun sent two men out of Shittim to spy secretly, saying, go look over the land and Jericho. And they were and came unto the house of a woman, but then she's described as a harlot. But a woman is not necessarily the same thing as a harlot, even though Strong says it is. And the way this says it here is it describes her as a woman first, isha, but then with the word, I lost my place here, hold on a second. A woman, 802, and then the word, where is it? There it is, okay. Vazana. Vazana. In other words, the vav there is an and. It's conjunctive. It's a description of this woman, that she was a woman and a harlot. Not that a woman is a harlot like Strong's tries to explain. I hope you're following what I'm saying here. This is serious business because, as I've said, especially in traditional Christianity, the idea of sex has been actually denigrated. We see all of this nonsense with the changing of the sexes. You know what I'm talking about. I got to be careful how I say it. In our modern world, the rise of the same-sex associations and the denigration of the man-woman relationship, it has its roots in the disgust for women in traditional Christianity and even further back, even in Judaism to some extent. So I hope you see that there's a problem with Strong's. And when you go to Strong's to look things up, you've got to understand that Strong's was still biased to the traditional concepts of Christianity, which have really screwed up a lot of people. Women are wonderful. Oh, they can be nasty. Oh, I've been the recipient of some really nasty stuff. And I'm sure a lot of women out there would say the same about men, that they've caused some nasty stuff to women. The point is, you can't make generalizations like Strong's does. A woman is an adulteress, when he says a man is a champion. Do you see what's happened here? I hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay, what is the word for adulterer or adulteress? It's word 5003 in Strong's. All right? And it's na'af. There's one on 5004, and there's another one after that too. It's a ni'uf. But the point is, it's a specific thing. It doesn't say it's a woman necessarily or a man. Any adulterer, male, or adulteress, female. Adulterer, man, adulteress, woman. And it's a description like I showed you in Joshua. A woman and a harlot, not the woman as a harlot. Do you see the difference? How Strong's has really messed people up, and Christianity has really messed people up. What's the word for harlot? 2181. I read it in Joshua 2:1 there. It's zonah. So an isha vazana would mean a woman who's a harlot. Or you could say isha va'naaf, which would be the woman is an adulteress. But woman is not an adulteress. Not woman. Do you see what the problem is here? I hope I've made it clear this morning, and I'm sorry I had to come on now and do it. It's bothered me all night long, because there's this movement in Christianity and in certain other parts of the Judeo-Christian tradition to malign women. It was an effort to overcome the Queen of Heaven, worship of the Queen of Heaven, the worship of the fertility goddesses in the pagan religions and all of that. I understand that, but why didn't they also denigrate the men? Oh, man, champion. Woman, adulteress. Wrong. It's evil, ladies and gentlemen. It's evil. And that's why I've said for so long that Christianity bears a big responsibility for why we see the world in the situation. Oh, it's done a lot of good. I'm not saying that. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, deal with people well, help people out and all that. But these attacks are very subtle, and they come from the evil side that creeped into Christianity. Like Jesus wasn't married. Oh, he would never do something that disgusting. Quite to the contrary, he would have obeyed that commandment. And I've explained that in my religion and in my Eisenman series. The claim that James wasn't married or didn't have sexual relations because he was chaste, according to Josephus, and Josephus never saw women in the camps. Well, that's because they were military camps, and also they didn't want to pollute the camps with the possibility of menstrual blood and some other things. But they were married. They just didn't have the women there with them. And his efforts to remain chaste were because he's not with his wife. So he's taking baths 3 or 4 times a day, cold baths. And I thought it was interesting because in Josephus it says, well, the reason why James takes cold baths is because the warm baths of the Romans cause people to want to have sex. They makes their libido stronger. How many of you have been in hot tubs? Do you really? I mean, even if the opposite sex is in there, I mean, you might get a little bit, worked up. But a hot bath does not help you in your libido any more than a cold bath does. It really doesn't. It saps you of your energy and your strength. So James was biased, if that's really how he was thinking. But I think it wasn't that he was against the warm baths. He was against the way the Roman baths worked, with bringing those men and women together in a situation where they could cause some promiscuity, okay, and adultery for that matter. All right, I don't want to belabor the point. I was just very concerned that this whole problem is still an issue, especially in Christianity, and it's made women, I think, to some extent, so concerned about their condition that it's really affected the relationships between men and women. And of course, that's been exacerbated by the social net, the welfare system, the government replacing the husbands, that kind of thing. And this is all by design, and you see it even in the Strong's Concordance. Gesenius, it's there, but it's not quite as obvious. Gesenius kind of explains a woman who can be a harlot, okay? Like a man can be an adulterer, but it doesn't say that in Strong's. He's a champion. No indication of a denigrated situation of adultery, killer, murder. Man, why didn't Strong say man, thief, man, murderer, man, adulterer? It doesn't. Champion, husband, but woman, adulteress. Just one of the problems with Strong's, and I wanted to bring it out to you this morning. I rather suspect that the individual who sent me this video, and it's actually two videos, and they're each over an hour long. One's almost 2 hours long. A lot of good information. Thank you for sending it to me. But in the end, that's where he's going to go with this. Okay, everything's about Jesus, 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 Jesus this, Jesus that, and he has no concept of that. He says, the Lord. He uses the word Lord a lot. The Lord showed me this. The Lord revealed this to me. The Lord did that. And he doesn't even know who the Lord is. It really got me upset because those types of things have a lot of influence. And when you come down on women as being the source of evil in the world, you're going to have a fight with me. A big fight. You want to fill the world with silly love songs? You know what that was about? Jimmy Joppa. What happened there was Paul McCartney and John Lennon kind of had a falling out, right? And John Lennon wanted to write these songs about, philosophy and those kinds of things, and Paul McCartney just wanted to write songs about, having fun with ladies, right? And so John Lennon came down on Paul McCartney about his silly love songs. And so Paul McCartney wrote the song, Silly Love Songs. That's where that comes from, in case you didn't know. Oh, wow. Skip right over my question. I didn't see your question, Weeping Willow, too, for you. You guys that get all upset, I don't read all of these chats. I can't do it, okay? And give my explanations of things, my presentation. So, sorry I hurt your feelings. Go somewhere else. If you don't understand how this works, it's your problem, okay? If you want to ask it again and be nice, and if I see it, I'll address it. Where is it? It was just above the one you just read. Well, I didn't see it, so give it to me again, and I'll make you, if you'd like, I might just make you weep a little more. So what is the question that you had? Repost it. You didn't hurt my feelings. What do you know of law? What are you talking about of law? I know that the laws are stacked against men. I know that. It's all designed to divide you. Is that what you want me to talk about? The law that comes down on men because of the ugly, evil women? Well, you might want to look at the ugly, evil system that's pushing women to do these things. I don't hate the women that have given me problems like that. They're really victims, because now you ought to see the condition they're in. Oh yeah, some of them get big, settlements. The common law of the father. Yeah, I know. So what, Weeping Willow? You going to come against all women and degrade them because the law is trying to divide you from the women? Don't be stupid. I realize that that's a problem. I've been a victim of it myself. But that's just another example of Lucifer in the Garden of Eden dividing Adam from Eve. It's the same thing. You know what Adam did, and I'm going to give some more dissertation on this shortly. Adam was so in love with Eve that he went ahead and took her back anyway. He saved her in her sin. He took her sin upon himself. This has nothing to do with a woman. Oh my God, this has to do with my being a woman unjustly condemned. Well then, that's my whole point, Weeping Willow. Women are unjustly condemned. Are you not understanding what I'm telling you here? Do you not understand what I'm putting forward? Do you understand that I came down on Strong's for saying that women are, by definition, adulteresses? When a man is, by definition, a champion? Do you not understand that that's what I'm attacking here? That you have been unjustly condemned? The state divides everything so that it can be on top, so that it can control everything. We're seeing that across the board now. All right, and don't ever accuse me of avoiding your questions. I can't do the chat like you want me to. I'm not here to read those. That's right, Mary Beth. Adam is woman and man. Eve is a separate woman? No, 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 no. That's not right. That's not right. Uh, there's a basis to what you're saying, Mary Beth. But if I take you there, you probably won't like what I tell you. Okay? Uh, there's the thing about Lilith, Phoebe, and Sarah. Okay? It's understood in the Talmud that way and in some other ancient writings. Um, a lot of that is metaphor, okay? But you're right. God made man and woman and called their name Adam. That's right. So you're not wrong. Okay, but Eve isn't really separate. It's a further explanation of who those women are. Okay. Okay, rib cells, again, that's metaphor. Okay, it just means that they were from the same tribe, the same bloodline. That's all it means. Eve was brought to Adam, and she was from the same bloodline that he was from. That's all it means. Okay, that's all I got for you. I've already taken almost a half an hour. You came here for my help, Weeping Willow. Well, then you must not be paying attention, because I'm not talking about the law and how you've been condemned, okay? You personally. I'm talking about how women as a whole have been denigrated and put in a second class state, even to the point, as I just pointed out, that they're automatically considered adulteresses and Strongs. Okay, so I don't know what you're whining about, all right? I'm supporting your concern. Whiny Willow, I guess so. I don't know. Some people have a chip on their shoulder, and they can't see a rescuer when they're. It's like a person drowning. You know, they're out there drowning, and if the guy or the woman who's going to try to save them goes out there and tries to save them, they're going to get pulled down with them. Well, apparently Whiny Willow has the same problem here. I'm here trying to help her understand that I'm defending her, and she's flashing around in the water, and she's going to try to drown me with her. Just. Maybe I should never even bother with this stuff. Never mind, you know nothing. Okay, bye-bye. You're gone. All right? I've had enough of you. Okay, bye-bye. All right, everybody, that's all I got. I hope you have a great... I hope your 4th of July went well. Remember what that's really about. I retweeted out a tweet from Colonel Kurt Schlichter, who is a retired colonel, and he's also a lawyer, attorney, that I just mentioned. It's in my community tabs under the posts. Talked about that what July 4th was about was taking aim at tyrants. So go look at that post, okay? Hopefully I'm back up and I can close this down to where it's not going to get lost in the cyberspaces YouTube very often likes to do to me. Again, I'm sorry for that interruption. YouTube shut down. That's what that was. I said something, they decided to take it off. So this video may not even remain. I don't know. All right, everybody. We'll see you later out here.